When my husband told me he had to fly to Chicago for a 3-day business conference, I barely looked up from the breakfast dishes. Back Thursday night, he said, kissing the top of my head. Our 8-year-old daughter, Ava, hugged his waist. Bring me something from Chicago. He laughed. Only if you're extra nice to Mom. Nothing about that morning felt unusual. If anything, it felt comforting in its routine. 2 days later, Ava climbed onto the couch beside me while I answered emails. Mom, she whispered, let's surprise Dad. I smiled. Surprise him? We can meet him after work and all have dinner together. He'll be so happy. The idea was impulsive, maybe even a little childish, but lately our marriage had felt crowded by schedules, flights, and postponed conversations. A surprise sounded like something we used to do before life became calendars and reminders. By evening, I had booked the tickets. Ava spent the flight drawing pictures for her father. One showed the three of us holding hands beneath a skyline. She folded it carefully into her backpack. I can't wait to see his face, she kept saying. Neither could I. Chicago greeted us with humid air and busy sidewalks. I texted my husband that morning, asking how the conference was going. Long meetings, he replied. Probably won't get back to the hotel until late. I smiled to myself. Perfect, the surprise was still intact. The hotel lobby buzzed with business travelers pulling rolling suitcases across polished marble floors. I approached the reception desk. I'm here to surprise my husband, I said quietly. Could you tell me whether he's in his room? The receptionist offered a polite smile before checking the reservation. Her expression changed almost imperceptibly. I'm sorry, she said carefully. For privacy reasons, I can't provide guest information. I nodded, embarrassed. Of course, before I could step away, Ava tugged my sleeve. Mom, she pointed toward the elevators. I followed her finger. My husband stepped out. He wasn't alone. A woman about his age walked beside him. They weren't holding hands, they weren't kissing, but they moved with the ease of people who had shared far more than conference sessions. He reached for her suitcase without thinking. She laughed at something only he had said. Then he looked up. His face lost every trace of color. For a moment, nobody moved. Ava waved enthusiastically. Dad! He walked toward us slowly. What are you doing here? He asked. It wasn't joy. It wasn't surprise. It was panic. Ava hugged him anyway. We came to surprise you. He hugged her back, but his eyes never left mine. The woman stood several feet away, suddenly unsure where to look. This is, he began, my colleague. She finished softly. No one believed the sentence, not even her. I didn't yell. I didn't accuse him. I simply asked, can we speak somewhere private? He nodded. Hotel security approached before we reached a quiet seating area. One of the employees had noticed the growing tension near the elevators and wanted to ensure everyone was safe. The officer asked calmly, is everything all right here? Yes, I answered. My daughter is with us, and we'd appreciate a little privacy. My husband tried to speak over me. The security officer gently interrupted him. Sir, let's allow everyone a chance to speak one at a time. It was a small moment, almost forgettable. But for the first time that afternoon, my husband couldn't steer the conversation with quick explanations. He had to listen. The officer remained nearby but out of earshot, making it clear that no one would be pressured or cornered. That quiet intervention changed everything. There would be no rewriting the moment, no talking over me, no rushing us back upstairs. Eventually, the woman apologized, not with dramatic confessions, but with visible discomfort. She admitted she had believed our marriage had already ended. My husband closed his eyes. I never told her the whole truth. That sentence hurt more than anything else. Not because it answered every question, because it revealed how many questions had existed all along. I looked at Ava, who sat coloring at a nearby table the hotel staff had kindly arranged for her while we talked. She deserved adults who chose honesty before convenience. I think we're leaving, I said quietly. My husband asked if we could talk later. I nodded once. Later. Not now. The flight home was silent except for Ava explaining the clouds outside her window. She fell asleep with her drawing still tucked inside her backpack. When we landed, I realized something unexpected. The surprise trip hadn't destroyed my marriage. It had ended the illusion that trust survives simply because no one asks difficult questions. The weeks that followed were neither dramatic nor clean. There were conversations, counseling appointments, long silences, practical decisions. Some promises proved sincere. Others arrived too late. Whether our marriage could survive remained uncertain, but something inside me had already changed. I stopped measuring peace by how successfully I avoided uncomfortable truths. Sometimes dignity isn't found in winning. Sometimes it's found in seeing clearly, even when clarity costs more than comfort.